Hello again. This is Dr. Sofia Beloga, high performance coach and holistic lifestyle strategist. I am sitting in this place because I definitely wanted to show you this behind. This is a location where the Olympic and Paralympic Games was held last year in 2018, and today we are in September 2019. We're again here for another tournament with disabled athletes. So kind of Paralympic Games. It's a Paralympic official recognized sport of wheelchair rugby. And I want to emphasize this because it's very relevant to the series of videos that I'm making here for you. When we want really to heal from a health challenge, from symptoms, from chronic pain, chronic stress, or a disease, we really need to build up our energetic levels that come from our daily life activities, nutrition, sleep, movement, activities and standards, people that permit us to surround us on an Olympic level energy level, on an Olympic level performance level, on an Olympic level standards. To become an Olympic athlete, you have created great standards around your training and whatever activities you're doing around. This is kind of parallelism. So if you want to really to be healthy and recover from all kind of challenges, and I'm saying this with total respect and total understanding because I have been there throughout my autoimmune disease pathology, we need to grow up and build up Olympic level activities, Olympic level standards, Olympic level energy, and this series of videos, it can lift you up the fastest way possible on this holistic level of well-being exercise for your health. And I advise you to take this in consideration, this series, in consideration, even if you decide to do a lower level of exercise for your case. But this is the foundational level that will help you and support you on whatever other kind of therapy, kind of program, kind of exercise, whatever your choice will be, and to help you. Because I assure you that you will not receive this kind of information. I assure you. So welcome back to this second video for the holistic lifestyle well-being and exercise. And actually this was the video 5 of the series, but I put you on the video 7 for a very specific reason, because it's very, very, very important. Some technical. Okay. We go to the Dr. Quiet. Dr. Quiet is the fastest way also to your health. As I said before, yesterday we did the first video, and honesty and acceptance. Honest, you cannot be more honest with anybody else than accept yourself. So practice the first video and get very, very clear and very, very specific of what your value is and what your principal priority is. And if you say that, oh, I know this is not interested of me, I challenge you to go back, because if you haven't made any progress yet to really relate on a daily exercise activity, to really relate on the right nutritional guidelines that are specific to you, if you're not engaging to the things and the deadlines that you know that are priority of you, or that you consider them as a struggle, I assure you that you are not very clear on, or be honest, you are not honest with what your value and your priority is. If, for example, is your health, be honest that my health is my priority, and what standards and values I have to put in place, building them up very, very strong because nobody else will do that for you in order to take care of your health. Be honest about this. Be honest and don't run either to your prostitute, to your victim, to your saboteur, or to your child archetypes. So you can nobody else will love you or respect you or value you more than what you do for yourself. All the others will want you to respond to their values. And no program will tell you about that either, except here. So today we're gonna get into the essentials of Dr. Quiet. And now I do go in more detail when we individualize this for you according to your program and the questionnaires, and into my book also that I have published last year. If you need more information about the book, please come back to me and I'll guide you to that, and to other videos, and to the Global Influencers Academy that I do online with participants from all over different countries. And I have a specific module where I emphasize there about all these aspects that we're discussing, and also about this specific Dr. Quiet and sleep quality. There is a quite comprehensive chapters and information on sleep on the book, and how this helps you, and on specific, again I repeat, programs that we individualize for you. This is an essential part of holistic lifestyle and well-being, and if sleep factor, quiet factor, is not addressed to any kind of program therapy that you are doing with your nutritionist, with your psychologist, with your trainer, with any other therapist you do, with your doctor, I advise you to get very educated on that aspect, because obviously they are not educated. I'm very confident about that. So about sleep, I can provide here, I provide my one-to-one clients, especially when I do the individualized program with them, a specific graph showing the normal cycle, circadian cycle, and if we go against the circadian cycle, we are really signing our contract to disease. So lack of sleep can create many series of health problems. There are several great books on sleep. One of them is some of the books out there. Just look at the reviews. You can find loads of great books. The issues of sleep deprivation, sleep costs, statistics are really, really quite wild, frightening about how many people are sleep deprived. And for example, I found a research where average college students get between 4.5 and 5 hours of sleep at night. That is a serious deficit of sleep that leads to all sorts of problems, with people like cutting themselves, getting injured, not focused, cognitive disorders, things getting screwed up, thyroid issues, accidents. The list is long and costs the health insurance and the governments literally billions of euros or dollars, if you want, per year, resulting to illnesses by sleep deprivation alone. Sleep deprivation, lack of sleep, can cause significant physical problems and can cause significant hormonal disbalances like blood glucose problems. It can cause people to gain a lot of weight. I mentioned cognitive disorders. It can cause mood swings. It can cause emotional imbalances, very aggressive, reactive, negative, and depressive. And it can cause also mental problems, cognitive disorders, which means the ability to process information and make judgments. And not getting enough sleep is a very, very, very common problem that we have largely due to so much also media engagements, computers, televisions, tablets, phones, working till late at night in front of our screen. And if you look at the research in sleep, your body is extremely sensitive to icons. We're not designed for exposure to a lot of light after the sun naturally goes down. Our body is evolving from a long time. So depending on what your belief system is and what your culture is, we started with our circadian rhythm and live for a billion of years without changing the circadian rhythm, because this doesn't change, and live on a natural day and night sleep along with the day-night cycles and the sun cycle, the moon cycle, our circadian cycle, our menstrual cycle. So we have very rapid changes in the last year concerning how our body has changed due to technology or other stimulants, creating series of problems. And nowadays, a lot of people talk, especially either for losing weight or becoming more fit. People talk about exercise, people talk about nutrition, and I even see a lot of therapists speaking about how to heal a disease with nutrition, which is not only that. Nowadays, nutrition is a big hint, but what is coming is sleep, the health of sleep quality, and what we do against sleep depth. And what I want to say else was, that was about the coffee. And the next thing that is gonna come is about the coffee consumption, that I will explain in later videos, will become the next no smoking hint. But that's for another video. It just came up to my mind, so I just wanted to mention it. So many people say that you need to sleep 8 hours of sleep, and there are a lot of research that might say that people might need more or less. And to be honest with you, in my career, I have met very few people that function well or have mental clarity and good health and vitality and energy and a healthy sex drive and a healthy metabolism and a healthy level of creativity when they get less 8 hours of sleep majority. Surprises is that also when you are a woman and you are obliged from your cycle, your motherhood cycle, to sleep less because you have to grow up your kid. Actually, new parent is gonna get into sleep deprivation, and it's gonna be very hard on them, on this parent, their mother, to their relationships and to their own health due to sleep deprivation, because the kid wakes up at night very often and needs to be fed or needs support, and this creates a lot of issues also to the mother's self-confidence, to the mother mental clarity, to the mother health care and self-care for the mother, but also a lot of problems with the couple and their happiness. So on current sleep science, it was shown that for the first year, if I remember well, after a woman gives birth, the mother becomes so much sleep deprived that her brain becomes to shrink. Deficient of brain function, cognitive problems as well, because of the lack of sleep. And there is cool science, there research to show out there the wild results of motherhood on sleep deprivation, and how also I help clients to support them with that. Dr. Bill Timmons, and when I was studying also into the holistic health institute that I was studying in California, he showed that our body has a physical cycle, so a physical repair cycle and a psychological repair cycle. From 10 p.m. till 2 a.m., the body focuses largely on repairing the physical structures of the body. From 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., this is the normal cycle to repair psychogenic repair, so things like the brain and nervous system and the effects that it has on our psychic or on our ability to feel, sense, think, decide, use our mind effectively. And some people are asking me, where is the research? Where I learned this from Dr. Timmons, but this does matter. But what matters is that in 2000, I was taught about that, and monitoring patients when I was working in Erasmus Hospital on people for cardiac rehabilitations and people under stress. We were I was making personal experiments because the other specialist therapists were not believing in that aspect. I was making personal measurements in order to measure about these results. And the results were insane. Also, when I was studying like people giving them medications in order to measure the stressors. So either we were making an endurance test, so a test that you do on the bike. And I was emphasizing a lot the importance that there was on the sleep quality that they had related to the medication intake and to the exercise and tests that they were making, while other therapists considering that it was not really important. But science and practice shows very, very different, and actually the results of the people that they were making in research. People better when skip that 10 to 2 from 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. cycles, or the physiological recovery, they don't recover and they don't function better physical level. And people who skip the cycle from 2 a.m. until 6 a.m. they start have to have a lot of emotional and mental problems and symptoms. For example, people stop dreaming, and dreaming is very, very important to our capacity to integrate our psychic and mental functions. And some research suggests that dreaming also has is a function that could be the defragmenting or cleaning up the systems that we have in our body, like toxicity, or getting rid of allergies, or getting rid of ideas that are not serving us. So our body, when we have this block, our body starts to be defragmented and blocked, and it's attention deficit type deficiency. And I've seen that many times, like during anxiety or depression. Depression shows what can happen to your body when you don't have the adequate sleeping of time and sleeping circumstances for yourself for a long time. And might therapists and doctors give you like depression pills or sleeping pills without really making the effort to test your circadian rhythm, your circadian cycle, and a holistic level to take all aspects in accumulation. So you want to pay close attention, because generally I say people, as I also mentioned in various scripts in sleeping coaching, that you want to have your head on the pillow by 10:30, because that's your physiological repair cycle phase beginning. And every minute after 10:30, your body starts to get tired and triggered, your cortisol gets tired, and shortly thereafter, you reach to a point where you cannot fall asleep very well, or you don't get asleep very deep because you have too much cortisol in your system. And coffee plays a very great part into that deep sleep. So imagine if you have great coffee intake and short sleep duration phase for you, what is happening to your quality of restoration and rejuvenation. And if you are going through a recovery from a disease, you really need to pay close attention to your recovery and sleeping quality cycles. So dark room is advised as well, and even though if the person can have like a light into his into his space. When he is in that stressing condition, like short sleep or too much caffeine that doesn't allow the system to recover, your cortisol is so high level, and your chromosomes will be also going against your recovery from a disease or against your health. So one of the key things that you want to do is you want to have this room atmosphere adequate to you, to help you to your deep sleep cycles. And again, there is a whole or electronics that there are in your room, other mobile laptops, Wi-Fi, telephones, television that can trigger your body. And it's just that, it's not just that to somebody to advise you, you need to sleep in a dark room or in a good room. It's not just that to get an advice from a therapist, really. So napping during the day, some of the research shows that yes, that no, you cannot regain sleep deprivation, but napping is at least the most close, precious tip that you could do. And napping, you don't want to nap more than 20 minutes because it causes the body to fall into, as referred to, hibernation state. And I find in my clients and patients and in myself that cannot really fully come awake because your body still is really asleep. And you get, especially if you get jet lag or you travel, and this has happened to me today, actually. I slept at midnight Korean time, and I wanted to wake up at 6:30 Korean time. That was beyond out of my time that I was in Greece or in Belgium, because Korea is 6 hours ahead from Greece, for example. So I didn't hear any alarm. I didn't hear any other wake-up call that I had, and suddenly I woke up. I had a session with a client, and he was telling me, well, I cannot get into our Zoom call. And then I asked, what time is in your zone? And then I asked also a colleague of mine who is here, what time is in Seoul now? And he said, like, it's 13:50 and we are leaving in 10 minutes for the stadium. So I had slept 13 hours in. And I assure you, so much jet lag, and I assure you for the rest of the day I couldn't remain walking because I had slept so much that I was in that mode of hibernation. And then we go into coffees or into teas in order to keep ourselves, to bring me up, bring everybody up, awoken. One of the things is that shift work also causes a lot of people problems. I have a lot of clients with a variety of diseases or symptoms that they were on shift work for too long, so their body cannot get adapted. So you need really to get very, very attentive and observant to the responses that your body gives you when you have a shift work or you work too many long hours, or if you're a motherhood. So what really can help you there is to get that magical phase of 10 p.m., 10:30 p.m. sleep, because that will balance your emotional, your health, your mental, your physical symptoms. And each of us has a different capacity to adapt time zone shifts or work shifts or other kind of shifts. Our inner clock is really adjusted to the location that we're actually born. So which country were you born? I had a patient who was a cancer case study, who had chronic back pain and other things. And one of the things that I noticed is that she was not noticed. She couldn't sleep well, and that woman was living, for example, in United States. She was I was coaching her online actually. She was living in San Francisco area, and she was born in Greece. So imagine the shift time. And she was also a person that she was working on a shift cycle work. So her health was not really recovering at all. And it got so bad that my suggestion is that I would like that you take a 2 week vacation and go home to the area that you were raised actually, and do nothing but relax, recuperate, and sleep in the normal sleep cycles of your origin country, actually being there, and see what happens. So, and she ultimately came back to see me to tell me that it was like God had reached from the sky and did a magic healing on her, and all sort of pains and problems went away. Her metabolism changed. She was losing weight. Her pain was away. Her exercise, she was adapting rituals to get her body back in shape. So our internal clock is really tuned into where we were born. And adaptation is a chronic phase that creates a lot of changes to your body, because your body is struggling to adapt to the rhythms of your origin, and you are not aware of that when your body is really giving you that signal that it's about time to adapt, to really adapt and heal, instead of taking medications. Sleep hygiene, like mats, are very, very important today. So you can see a series of mats. Grounding mats help you from the electromagnetic pollution, and they can have a huge effect on chronic, also curing, like joint problems, like cognitive problems, often clear up just from using a grounding mat to sleep on. So our buildings also can be full of electronics, and anytime you are having problems getting asleep, you should unplug everything in the room, not just turn it off, but unplug, like televisions, laptops, like mobiles should be shut off, not just the screen on sleepy mode, but shut off from the plug. So take the plug out. You really want to unplug any machine in your room or your house. And even if you have an electronic clock, get a natural clock to you, like the normal clocks that we had the old times. That can also be very healing and get you back to your origin space. And there is nothing wrong with that. It's just as good and precise. And other thing that can cause tremendous problems on rejuvenation and restoration and sleep, that I have also experienced with neck injuries and many ligaments in my spine, right here in the cervical. And I used to have a lot of pain in my hands throughout the night. Also, I couldn't sleep. And then when I really realized, something triggered me, I can't remember what it was, to really wonder if getting off the Wi-Fi system in my area, in my house, and didn't even remember how all the circumstances. But it was really funny to wake up in the morning and realize what I was doing. So investigating them, and I think I have also made a video about that, maybe. Anyway, so I highlighted various books and various also sources about that. That was exactly the Wi-Fi function doing a very, very bad work on my symptoms and my health. So make sure that wireless systems are really off when you are sleeping. If you are in a building where there are a lot of electronic systems, I advise you to get yourself an Ares Tech card, which you can give you like a long distance of protection from electronics and Wi-Fi devices, which I use when I travel in hotels or in airplanes. It can be very, very helpful. And we also have to worry about noise pollution and light pollution, such as car lights, flashes, noise in the area where you are. If you have to get a pair of comfortable earplugs or night shades that you can wear on your eyes or in your ears in order to do what you have to do if you have to move, because it can be cheaper than the health challenges creating in the long run than paying expensive various medications or therapists or doctors. Many people try to justify their late nights, but they cannot really avoid later paying a lot of money in order to coach you on sleeping medications and sleeping sources and sleeping techniques in order to heal you from your diseases. And people get really trapped into the intellect and don't get these feelings or these thoughts or these instincts, so as feedback mechanism as to what happens in order to be healthy and what really costs you to be healthy. So these are my introductory tips on sleep and restoration. It's one of the greater aspects that really help you to get your health back very, very fast, and it's a very, very cheap way. It's a very, very cheap way, really, that will help you to feel much, much better than any pain and any symptoms that you may have, and to support your path if you are in a path of health recovery or for any origin. Sleep deprivation and sleep debt is one of the number one priorities that you need to go back and look into. And if a therapist or a doctor doesn't specifically and in depth consult you, advise you, guide you about the sleep health for you, then you really need to consider about that on your own, search for that on your own. But by listening this series of videos, you are in the right track, because this is like really the foundational level of the well-being for health, for your symptoms, or for prevention, or for rehabilitation, in order to get you in that state according to your chief dream, to your love, and to your priority that you have for yourself. So sleep is one of the essentials of self-care. And this is a great tip also for your kids. If your mother or your grandmother in the past was advising you to go sleep early, well, they had a point, and they knew what it was for. They really wanted to care. They care deeply about you. Maybe they didn't know the science behind it, but they had the wisdom. And now you have, with this video, you have an initiative about the science behind that. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next one.